Fair use. These clips are for educational purposes only. Now, I'm back with another triggering topic, and I also wanted to give y'all just another quick disclaimer for YouTube. This video is not meant to bash or put down any specific demographic of people. It is simply meant to start dialogue and hopefully help make change in the Black community. But at the end of the day, these are my thoughts and my thoughts alone, and simply my opinion. But I just wanted to show y'all some quick clips, and I'll be right back.
How do you feel about that title? The murder capital of America?
What you mean? Before that bit became the murder capital, this time it was already one. I grew into that. They was glorifying that. So what you think we gonna do? We gonna glorify that bitch too.
I like that shit. Yeah, man. When we come to #1 murder capital, we letting them know. We block. That goes from interstate. You hear me? From any state, it doesn't matter.
Ain't shit free out here, man. You gonna pay homage down here.
When you come down here, you gotta pay something. You hear me?
Ain't no compliments. I like that chain. I mean, I want that. You ain't getting you no compliment. Or you fresh. I mean, get undressed. You want that. What that mean? I want that, man.
I just came up here and got a few dates, and I made like 400.
400? Is there certain cars you won't get into?
Yeah.
What kind of cars?
Black guys and people with more than one person in the car.
I feel helpless. Like I couldn't protect her.
And off the top here at 6, chilling cell phone video showing what one family says is their daughter being kidnapped.
17-year-old Brianna Nicole Fluitt died of a gunshot wound here in East Cleveland, surrounded by abandoned buildings. Brianna's family is one of at least 6 in Cleveland and East Cleveland who are still hoping for closure. Most recently, the bodies of Natalie Perez and Jessica Coleman were found on the east side of Cleveland this spring.
On Tuesday, East Cleveland police found the body of a woman believed to be 22-year-old Alicia Pointer.
Her family and twin sister spoke.
I'm so angry that this happened to an innocent person. And they just start to leave my best friend away from me.
The 22-year-old went missing on November 4th and was discovered in the basement of this abandoned, burned-out home on Savannah Avenue 5 days later.
Paul Bradley and Paris Bradley were both found dead in a burning car in an abandoned East Cleveland parking lot.
They believe Paris was tortured and eventually shot 3 times in the head in front of her father.
The gang, which operates in East London, has been accused of grooming and exploiting young children, controlling drug trade in the area, and using violent weapons such as zombie knives.
Now, today's triggering topic is the criminality of the Black man. And this conversation is really going to be layered because I have so many thoughts about the Black community and the relationship between Black men and Black women. And honestly, I've always hesitated about making a video like this because I'm not for sure how to make my thoughts come together cohesively because I have a lot of thoughts about this. But I'm going to try my best, y'all. Now, we have a dynamic where the collective of Black men, and of course this isn't every Black man, but the collective of Black men would like to distance themselves from Black women and act like they are a separate entity, like we don't come from each other. And you'll have them say, well, the Black man is the most desired, but the Black woman is the least desired. They want us and not you because there is something wrong with the Black woman. Or they'll say something like, oh, the Black woman is the most evicted woman, as if the Black man in those households, a lot of times he is there, not contributing anything. And that has led to that eviction of that Black woman who was the only one on the lease. Or as if when you look at the opposite side of those statistics, the Black man is the most evicted male. Then I was thinking more specifically, which I'll probably focus on the most, thinking about the violence and the criminality that is oftentimes surrounded by Black men and how that criminality affects Black women. Now, Black women suffer abuse, rapes, SA, unalivings, disrespect in the communities that we live in because oftentimes Black women are prey for Black men. And I've noticed that when there are bad things that are it's like if bad things are almost exclusively connected with Black men, like robbing, unaliving, carjackings, things of that nature. Black men don't want to be this separate entity away from Black women then. Now it's the Black community. Now it's all of us. Now it's the Black single mother's fault. But when it is something of benefit, like this so-called desirability of the black man, which is usually just a fetish thing, or these non-black women see you as an easy lick to drain your pockets because they think that you might be going somewhere in life and they know that you have self-hatred and that you're going to put them on a pedestal. But then it's just y'all and not us. And this anti-blackness just applies to just the black woman. And I've oftentimes wondered why we as black women take that burden, why we don't separate ourselves in these difficult conversations and say, okay, well, since we're separate any other time, when we're talking about criminality, that's just y'all, because statistically, it's not us. Or when we talk about incarceration, we say, hey, that's you. That's y'all problem. That's y'all. That's not us. We're separate now, right? And you know what? I remember doing this myself, right? Especially back in my pro-black days. I would get into it with a lot of white tea people about the crime stats. And they would say, oh yeah, the homicide rate for the black community. Or they would talk about narcotics and a whole host of other things that are basically the black man's issue. At least about 90% they're at fault for. And I would be sitting there arguing with them, debating with them as they put all of these things onto me, all of these things onto black women when they're things that we really don't have anything to do with. I would never even think about separating myself. I took it on because at that time I viewed us as one, as the black community. Even though statistically, as I said, black women aren't behind these issues. And I was really thinking how that energy has never been returned, but it did take me a while to realize that that energy wasn't returned. And I think that really, honestly, this is probably going off on another different discussion, but I really realized with the introduction of Kevin Samuels, how many black men truly didn't view black women as the other side of the coin. They didn't really look at us as connected as black women looked at them. Like, oh no, we're one, my black king this, my black king that. They weren't looking at us in that manner. You know what I'm saying? And that I really think was eye-opening for me. And that is really what led me down my path of not being pro-black, but actually being pro-black woman, because I realized that we really needed to uplift each other. We really needed to pour into each other and speak life into each other, because that wasn't being done for us. Now, we were speaking life into black men, but when it was a situation where we needed it, it wasn't happening. And I think I've said this in other videos. Other things have happened to make me realize that just now, how they are treating Sonia Massey, or how Corin Gaines was treated, or how Sandra Bland was treated. All of these women were not treated the same way that black men were. The black men that had lost their lives by police officers were treated. But anyway, let me just keep moving forward. And you know what? I also was really thinking about how black women really are the scapegoat of everything that is wrong with the black community. Everything is supposed to be the black woman's fault. But my thing is this, is that if black men are so masculine and they're the most desired and they're so in charge and they're such dynamic leaders, then why can't you at the very least encourage each other? You can leave the black women out of it. Why can't you at least encourage each other into being better men and improving your communities and telling each other that you shouldn't throw your whole future away because you got mad at somebody and unalive them? Why you can't help each other to reduce the homicide rates at which you are attacking each other? And why can't you unpack the mentality behind it? And older men can't encourage the younger men. Honestly, I mean, these things I've never even really heard black men discuss on as much as they discuss hair weaves, as much as they discuss single mothers, as much as they discuss submission, as much as they discuss any of these things that really don't have any real bearing on the black community. And let's be clear here. This is not my opinion. This is factual. Black men are the reason why the black community is in ruins statistically. But beyond that, I also want to show you that there is a problem with the state of black men globally. Yes, globally, because people will tell you, oh, it's a black American thing. It's just over here and all of these other places. All the black men are great and they're functional. And it's not true. It's lies. It's not a Black American thing. It's not a Black Brit thing. It's not an African thing. These issues are plaguing Black men everywhere in one form or another. Now, I don't know, once again, y'all, how this video is going to flow, to be honest, because these are just thoughts that I've been having for a while now. Now, first, I wanted to talk about the demonization of the Black single mother as being responsible for the crimes of the young Black men and also the older Black men in our communities, being blamed for Black men acting like wild animals. Now, if you notice in the clips that I just showed you guys, there were two different sets of Black men, right? Saying in two different states, at least 15 hours plus away from each other. They said that the men in their communities before them glorified the lifestyle that they are living, and so they will do the same. They said the men, not the women. And this is my thing, because I can guarantee you that the women in these men's lives tried to tell them right from wrong, but they didn't listen. And that's the whole part of the demonization of the single mother. You act as if the majority of these single mothers don't instill values in their sons. They do. But the majority of men and boys at large don't listen to women usually. So they take their advice, they take their influence from other men or other boys. And it's really just that simple. So my thing is that these hood Negroes are not taking their mother's words to heart. What they're doing is taking other men's words to heart that are putting them down a wrong, bad road. And what I really want to get across is that this dysfunction is cultural, and there is a reason for it, at least in my opinion. Now, if you noticed in one of the other clips, there was an elder Black man that was there with those young, wild Negroes, and he clearly was engaging in the same type of behavior as them. He wasn't there to speak out against it or encourage them to do better. He seemed right at home with them, and they seemed right at home with him. He was there as a co-conspirator. And my thing is this, is that if you say that these young Black men are wilding out because they need male influences, but they indeed have male influences, those male influences are just leading the younger men behind them down a bad road too. Then who is really the problem? Because the fathers are not staying, and the men that should be helping are purposely misleading the young men. So if you know that men or boys at large don't listen to women, and the people they do listen to are the men, and all the men are also dysfunctional, the older men, then what are we talking about? How was that the Black woman's fault? How was that the Black mother's fault for the actions of people that have their own free will? And even in the UK, in the last clip, they said that these gangs are exploiting and corrupting young children. And I think you know who is exploiting and corrupting these children that they should be influencing positively. It's the men. So at what point do we really stop playing games and put the blame where it's supposed to go, which is on the men in our community? You are the ones that are not present in the home and abandon your children. You are also the ones corrupting the young men that you are supposed to be advising. Now, you may say, oh, well, you know what? Black men are just broken. They can never be fixed. Now, I don't know if it can be fixed. I don't know. But I do know that Black men are not born broken, that this brokenness comes from somewhere. And in my opinion, a lot of the current problems that we have now are rooted in the culture that we have curated for the Black community. And actually, if we want to keep it real, it is the culture that white supremacy has curated for the Black community. This is how they saw us. This is how they wanted us to behave. And this is the type of programming that they had given us. And unfortunately, a lot of Black men fall right down into that trap. Gangster rap, drill rap, this violent culture has become monetized, romanticized, and it's been made mainstream. And that is what a lot of young men want to be. It's unfortunately what a lot of young Black men want to be in some way, shape, form, or fashion. You have this glorification of a money-getting, charismatic, sexy, violent criminal that has no moral compass. He's a cheater. He's an abuser to women. But somehow he is able to have all of the women at his feet and be successful. And even if with some black men or some black boys, the violence and the criminality doesn't resonate in their spirit, the cheating and the womanizing does. And this music, this culture that is breastfed to the majority of black men from very early affects their development. That's why all the men in the videos were acting the same, talking the same hand movements, the same mentality. Even in another country, the men are behaving the exact same way because they are all influenced by the same thing. Which is why when I was watching all of these documentaries, even when I saw white men, white Hispanics, and other non-black people, they were acting the same way because those people wanted to be black. And you already know they want to be black, but they don't really want to be black. They just want to become a caricature of us. But they also, in doing that, they also become infected with the same sickness because it's a sickness that, in my opinion, is literally transmitted through the culture, which is music. In my opinion, it is the most widely popular way of infection, but also TV, movies, social media, and also associating with others who have already been infected because they can affect how you view things, or they can become a bad influence on you and change your perspective. And if we could stop this pervasive influence of drill and gangster music, which has such a strong hold on the men in our community, if we could get men that have money, that have power, to stop making movies and TV shows that only show the worst that our community has to offer, struggle of infidelity, the black woman being a mammy who is stressed out of her brain and only knows disrespect. And somehow she's happy to settle for the disrespect that she receives at the hands of a pookie or a rich pookie. Shout out to Tyler Perry. The only TV shows that are allowed to run for season after season after season are shows that feature us as criminals, drug dealers, murderers, traffickers, etc. But shows like Lovecraft Country get canceled after one season. If we could stop the culture, which also comes from entertainment, that a man that has a heart, a man that respects women, a man that loves black women and treats them with dignity is a simp, then maybe we could get somewhere. Because if black men could respect black women enough to want to marry them, to build a family with them, and to not just be content with making them a baby mama or laying up in their house and not contributing anything, if black men could see the humanity in black women, that we are humans with feelings and we have our own hopes and dreams and that we don't exist to simply mammy and mule for you, then maybe we could get somewhere. We don't exist just to be your incubator for children that you will leave behind once you realize that you can't have access to that woman anymore. And I know that y'all saw those videos in the clip that I showed of young black girls unalived by black men who didn't look at them as kin. Just straight prey is what they viewed them as. And my thing is that when people talk about, oh, the black woman has been against the black man, the black woman she's the biggest enemy to the black man that has ever been. She's a bigger enemy to the black man than the white T-man. My thing is that, those are lies, because where do you see the majority of black women or the collective of black women preying on black men in such an egregious manner? Where do you see black women dragging black men in cars and kidnapping them, and you find their bodies a few days later? You don't, and you never will, because the black culture is not geared to black women behaving like that. It is for black men usually. And I'm not saying that there aren't some black girls that become infected, because there are, but it is a minority statistically. This can be proven, so don't come for me. So what I really would like everyone to do is ask yourself, why are black women succeeding in ways that black men are not? Why do black women have a different moral compass than the collective of black men? When we share the exact same obstacles, struggles, and the same history. And sometimes it can be worse being a woman, right? Because, and you know what? I'm just going to say it because I wasn't going to say it, but I know why. Okay? Because black women and black girls are forced to fly. They are not coddled. They are not given grace. A young girl gets pregnant and she's called fast. I don't even care if the pregnancy was not consensual. She's called fast and told that she should be judged for the rest of her life. She is torn to pieces. And with that, she becomes stronger, more determined to prove the world wrong. A black boy makes a mistake and unalive someone or carjack someone or rob someone. We coddle him and tell him that he bears no responsibility for what he did. It's his mother's fault. It's his mother's fault that single mother didn't tell you right. Oh, it's the white T-man's fault. And then we throw him a party when he gets out of prison and he stays with his mother who treats him like he just left Harvard. And you know what? Something else I wanted to touch on is, remember in the clips where the prostitute was being interviewed and the man asked her what car she doesn't get in and she said black guys? I want y'all to know that she was not being racist by saying that. Now, I'm not saying, I don't know if this lady is racist or not, but that statement and that thought process that she had regarding prostitution is not racist. Do you know that it is common for prostitutes of all races, including black ones, including black women, to refuse service to black men because of the added risk factor? And these women are they're prostitutes, right? So they're already in a risky business. So they're not trying to take a bigger risk than what they already are. And I'm not saying that other races of men don't harm prostitutes, because we all know that that is true and documented. But I was looking this up because I remember reading threads of ex-prostitutes online, and they were saying the reason why they reject black men sometimes is because black men tend to be more violent, and a lot of times they don't want to pay, or they won't pay, or they haggle on the price, or they bring other men to try to force those women to service them for free, and a whole host of other things. And you know what? It's like there is a common thread to all of this bad behavior, but nobody wants to admit it. Everybody wants to put the blame elsewhere where it shouldn't be. And it's like, even with that, y'all, I remember back to my younger years when Backpage was around, and like me and my friends, we would be nosy and like look at the ads on there. And I remember seeing those ads, and at least 50% of the women that would be on Backpage would say no black men. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted y'all to understand that it's not just black women that see this sickness. It's not just black women that experience these things. It's just that others that are out there, they just say it, but they're not able to identify what the problem really is. And this isn't any shade to black men. This isn't to say, I'm just not going to explain it. I'm not going to apologize, because no one apologizes when they want to expose black women. When they want to say, why in the world are you guys wearing weaves? Y'all hate yourself. And y'all want to say all of these dumb things. Y'all don't give a disclaimer. And I'm not going to do it right now. Okay? I'm not. So take it how you want to take it, because you know what I'm saying is true. The criminality, the lack of masculinity, the disloyalty, the lack of love for the women that they come from is passed down to the collective of the black man like a cursed heirloom. Now, how can that be fixed? I had plenty of ideas on it, but you know what? Men very rarely listen to women. And this is also why the world is the way it is, but y'all don't want to clock that T. So I don't know if I should do another video about this. I feel like, is this video, do y'all understand what I'm saying? I didn't really know how to really put all of this together, but hopefully y'all understood what I'm saying. But if anyone likes this video, maybe I'll talk about some solutions in another video or a future video if y'all want to hear it. Hopefully this video made sense. Hopefully it made sense, because it's just thoughts that I have been having for a while, and I just wanted to express them to y'all because I wanted to know if you as black women, y'all feel the same, or if you have noticed the same thing. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to keep ranting, y'all. So if you watched this whole video and you did enjoy it, please do me a favor and drop a 99 in the comments. And if you can't donate to my Cash App above to help support the channel, that's no problem at all. I know times are hard out here. Just do your girl a free favor and sign on over there to TikTok and follow me there. I live stream there almost exclusively. And also if you can follow me on YouTube, because it says a lot of you guys are watching my videos, but y'all are not subscribed. So if y'all watching the videos, y'all already part of the family. So go ahead and join and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my new uploads and become an official part of the an official part of the family. And as always, I really love to hear from y'all, my sisters. So please drop your thoughts, comments, and feelings down below.